There is something deeply disturbing in the simple act of closing your eyes. We all do it in unmade beds, crowded airplanes, sweaty sofas, and yet we rarely notice the absurdity. We switch off consciousness, accept the blackout, and call it rest. But what really happens when we stop existing for a few hours? Every night, billions of human beings disappear from their own world. No one knows the exact moment they cross the boundary between being and not being. One second you feel the weight of your body, the next, nothing. No sound, no story, no self. Just an absence that does not hurt because there is no one there to feel it. It is forgetting in its purest state, the most perfect simulation of death that nature has managed to produce without killing us. The Greeks understood this long before science. Hypnos, the god of sleep, was the twin brother of Thanatos, the god of death. Two faces of the same shadow. One comes every night, the other only once. When we sleep, Hypnos visits us with the delicacy of one who prepares the ground. He teaches us to die silently, in parts, so that the final blow will not be so abrupt. And yet we call this recharging our energy. What irony! The act closest to total annihilation is what keeps us alive. We spend a third of our existence rehearsing disappearance voluntarily, without resistance. No tyrant, no political force, no ideology has ever exercised such absolute control over us as sleep. But there is a cruel difference between sleeping and dying. In sleep, we wake up, we return to being, and in that brief miracle, or condemnation, who knows, atoms reassume consciousness of themselves for an instant before fading again. That is what we are, intermittent lights trying to shine in the interval between two darknesses. The video begins here, at the point where habit becomes revelation. Because perhaps sleep was never just rest. Perhaps it is merely death being shy, testing the ground, preparing us for the moment when there will be no more waking up. You have never realized it, but you have already died thousands of times. Every night, when the body yields and the mind disarms, something in you ceases to exist. And the most curious thing is that no one notices the exact instant when this happens. There is no ceremony and no sound, just a sudden cut. The self switches off, and the universe keeps functioning as if it never needed you. Waking up is the true absurdity. It is the impossible happening again, as if matter regretted having erased you. That is why sleep has always been more than biology. It is the rehearsal of what we fear most, but practiced docilely. It is annihilation disguised as routine. Schopenhauer said that consciousness is the accident of matter, a flash between two infinite nights. And that is exactly what sleep reminds us of, that wakefulness is only an exception, a brief interval amid absence. Sleeping is returning to the natural state of things, silence. But there is something even more disturbing. When you sleep, the world continues. People are born, airplanes take off, oceans move. Everything happens without you. And for a while, no one notices your absence. This is the truth the ego tries to hide. The universe does not miss those who sleep, nor those who die. Perhaps that is why sleep has so much power. It is death in a tolerable version, the daily reminder that we are dispensable, and yet we have the arrogance to believe that tomorrow belongs to us. Think about this. While you slept last night, millions of decisions were made that will shape your future. Governments passed laws, markets crashed, lovers separated, children were born into poverty. All of it without your consent, without your awareness, without your existence mattering at all. You were dead to it. And when you woke, you entered a world already transformed, pretending you were part of the transformation. This is the secret contract of consciousness. We agree to disappear regularly so that we can tolerate our own insignificance. The boundary between sleep and death is a human invention. In nature, there is no essential difference between ceasing for hours and ceasing forever. Only duration changes. The sleeping brain and the dead body obey the same command: silence. The first is reversible, the second definitive, but both start from the same renunciation, the abandonment of consciousness, that passing delirium we believe to be life. The Greeks were not wrong to call sleep hypnos and death thanatos. They are brothers, not metaphors, born of the same mother, night. Hesiod wrote in Theogony that in the heart of darkness sleep the twins who know no light. This ancient intuition is more accurate than many modern biological treatises. The mind tries to separate rest from extinction only because it cannot bear to admit that rest is a brief extinction. Cioran said that sleeping is the most innocent form of suicide. The phrase is brutal but logical. Whoever sleeps suspends meaning, dissolves the ego, experiences annihilation without punishment. Sleep is the domestic version of death, a managed interruption, a sanitized collapse. Nietzsche reminded us that everything that lives desires rest. The impulse to lie down, to cease, is not weakness, it is metaphysical nostalgia. Matter wants to return to the state from which it came, to nothingness. Wakefulness, with its voices, tasks, and promises, is only a temporary distraction from the deepest vocation of being, disappearance. That is why sleep is not a luxury nor a physiological necessity. It is a reminder that the abyss is patient and calls us with the voice of rest. We want meaning, but what we find is routine. Man wakes, works, fills time, and calls this life. Deep down, he knows none of this answers the emptiness he feels. He sleeps to forget that he is too awake. He lives between the effort to remain conscious and the desire to dissolve. It is an insoluble contradiction. We want to exist and disappear at the same time. Camus called this the absurd, the clash between the thirst for meaning and the silence of the world. And it is this silence that sleep stages every day. Nature reminding man that there is no answer, only pause. Schopenhauer saw in this the supreme irony. Life oscillates like a pendulum between pain and boredom. Wakefulness is pain, sleep is boredom. Neither offers peace, only alternation. Modern life has radicalized this oscillation. We sleep little, work too much, and pretend to be awake. We are an exhausted civilization, addicted to stimulus, afraid of the pillow because it fears its own silence. Psychology calls this anxiety, philosophy calls it despair. Kierkegaard said that despair is not wanting to be what one is, and insomnia is its most honest form. When the body asks for sleep and the mind refuses, it is not coffee that wins, it is fear of nothingness. Because sleeping is admitting that control is over, and modern man cannot bear what he cannot monitor. Still, every night he yields, and upon waking acts as if he had won something, when in fact he has merely survived another small death. There is something deeply cowardly about waking up. It is as if consciousness, ashamed of its own absence, pretended to have been in control the whole time, but it was not. During sleep, you disappeared, and the world did not notice. Waking up is the body trying to justify its own return, like an actor stepping back onto the stage after the show has already ended. Heidegger called sleep a withdrawal of being, the moment when Dasein abandons its task of existing. Man sleeps because he cannot endure constant lucidity. Wakefulness is a burden, not a virtue. Sleep is the last refuge of sanity, a negation disguised as physiology. And awakening, contrary to what moralists preach, is not a triumph, it is a relapse into consciousness, a return to unease. It is curious how society has turned this cycle into morality. Sleeping too much is laziness, sleeping too little is productivity. No one notices the absurdity. We punish the most natural act in the universe, ceasing. Nietzsche wrote that whoever does not know how to rest does not know how to live, but we made him forget that. We created a culture where exhaustion is a medal and insomnia is a resume. Yet the body does not obey ideology, it yields. Sleeping is the biological protest against the human delusion of control. It is nature reminding the ego that no matter how hard it tries, it is only a brief flash amid eternal night. And when it awakes, it pretends it was the one who decided to return, as if the abyss asked permission to give us back. Watch someone fall asleep next to you. Their face slackens, the muscle tension drains, the breathing changes rhythm. You are witnessing a small death in real time, and the most disturbing part is how natural it looks. The person you know is gone, replaced by an animate corpse that breathes. You could whisper their name, shake them, scream, and for those first seconds of deep sleep, they are unreachable. They have crossed into a territory where you cannot follow. This is what lovers sleep next to every night. Temporary corpses. and we call this intimacy. There is a violence in how easily the body gives up. No struggle, no protest, just collapse. We are built to surrender. Evolution spent millions of years perfecting our ability to disappear on command, to shut down consciousness with the efficiency of a machine. This is the truth natural selection shows. The organisms that learned to die temporarily survived better than those who fought to remain awake. We are the descendants of creatures who mastered surrender, who made peace with nightly extinction. The will to live is a lie. What we really have is a will to die regularly. Hospitals know this. They understand that unconsciousness is just a deeper level of the same mechanism we use every night. Anesthesia is not magic, it's simply sleep forced through chemistry instead of exhaustion. When a surgeon puts you under, they are not doing anything foreign to your body. They are just pulling the lever that you pull yourself every night, except this time you don't get to choose when. And the truly horrifying question, how do you know you wake up as the same person? Memory provides continuity, but memory is fiction. The you that went under and the you that wakes up might be completely different consciousnesses, and you would never know. Each time you sleep, you die. Each time you wake, a new consciousness inherits the old one's memories and believes it is the same person. This is not philosophy, this is the mathematics of discontinuous existence. Children are closer to animals than adults, and animals understand death instinctively. A child resists bedtime, not from stubbornness, but from wisdom. The species is not yet educated out of them. They scream because they know. And what do? We develop elaborate rituals to trick them into accepting extinction. Bedtime stories are not entertainment, they are sedatives. We read them tales with happy endings, with characters who overcome obstacles and live forever in implied perpetuity. We are teaching children that narratives protect against nothingness. We are training them in the same delusion that keeps adults functional, that meaning is armor against the void. It is not. The child who fights sleep is the honest one. The child who goes quietly has already learned to lie. What happens in a coma is what happens every night, stretched into weeks, months, years. The person is there, breathing, metabolizing, but absent. Families gather around the bed, speaking to someone who is not listening, touching hands that do not respond, waiting for a return that may never happen. This is sleep without the courtesy of waking. And doctors measure brain activity, searching for signs of consciousness, as if consciousness were a thing that could be measured, quantified, proven. But they never ask the question that matters. If someone in a coma has brain activity identical to someone in deep sleep, what is the difference? The difference is time. Nothing more. The person in a coma is just sleeping longer than society permits. We call it tragedy only because we cannot wake them with an alarm clock. People who suffer from sleep paralysis describe it as the most terrifying experience of their lives. They wake but cannot move, trapped in their bodies, aware but helpless. For a few seconds or minutes, they experience what a corpse would experience if it could still think. The medical explanation is simple. The brain wakes before the sleep paralysis mechanism disengages. But listen to what they report. A presence in the room, a weight on the chest, the certainty that something is there, watching, waiting. This is not hallucination. This is the mind recognizing what is always there, what sleep usually blinds us to. When we sleep, we are not alone. Something else occupies the space consciousness vacates. We call it nothing, but nothing does not press on your chest. Nothing does not watch. In that paralyzed moment between sleep and waking, people see the truth. When you disappear, something else appears, and it has always been there, patient, waiting for you to stop existing so it can exist instead. Narcolepsy is not a disease. It is honesty taken to the logical conclusion. The narcoleptic cannot maintain the illusion of continuous consciousness. They collapse randomly, unexpectedly, mid-sentence, mid-step. The body refuses to pretend anymore and surrenders whenever it wants. Society calls this pathology because a functional civilization requires people to schedule their disappearances. But the narcoleptic is just living the truth the rest of us hide. Consciousness is not stable, not reliable, not even particularly interested in staying. It is always looking for the exit. The narcoleptic's body simply found it and uses it freely. Sleeping, after all, is the most sincere gesture humanity still has. Waking up is its most convincing self-deception. Sleep is proof that death does not need to kill us to win. Every night, it visits us with the delicacy of one who knows that the end is not an event, but a habit. Sleeping is the oldest surrender of the human being, and the only one he has never managed to avoid. No matter religion, progress, or science, no one escapes closing their eyes. Perhaps wisdom begins when we stop treating this as tragedy. If consciousness is only an interval between two absences, then living is the art of valuing the interval. Camus said there is no fate that cannot be overcome by contempt. And perhaps the noblest way to despise death is to live knowing that it is always present, discreet, patient, polite. Philosophy, in the end, does not teach us to understand the mystery, but to endure it. Sleeping and waking are the two gestures that contain all human metaphysics, dying a little and being reborn tired. In between, the miracle is not the dream nor the awakening, but existence, perhaps. As Pessoa wrote, to live is to think about this. And maybe that is the answer that remains, to continue living lucidly always, because sleep is only death being shy, and life the brief instant in which it hesitates. But let us not romanticize even this. Lucidity is not salvation. It is only another form of suffering. To live consciously, knowing what sleep reveals, is to carry a weight that crushes. Most people are saved by forgetting. They wake up and immediately fill the void with coffee, notifications, tasks, anything to avoid the echo of where they just were. This forgetting is mercy, not weakness. The truly lucid do not survive long. They see too clearly that waking and sleeping are the same act wearing different masks, and eventually they stop distinguishing between the two. The question is not why we sleep. The question is why we wake. What biological accident, what cosmic error decided that consciousness should interrupt the silence? Every morning is evidence that nature makes mistakes, that the universe has a flaw. Sleep is the default state, the natural order. Waking is the aberration, the glitch, the temporary malfunction that gives us just enough time to realize we should not exist before pulling us back into the dark. And we waste that time. We waste it on ambitions that mean nothing, on loves that fade, on work that could be done by anyone. We waste consciousness because we cannot face what it actually is, a brief window between two eternities of nothing, a cosmic accident too embarrassed to admit it should never have happened. In the end, we will return to where we came from nothing. You who made it this far are already part of this. This channel is sustained by a rare community, lucid, courageous people who do not run from difficult questions. If you feel you belong here, become a channel member. It is the most direct way to keep this project alive, and it gives you access to exclusive content and dialogues. To those who are already members, thank you. You are the backbone of all this. And for those seeking more, I leave a serious invitation: pessimistic philosophy. Lucid darkness is not a course for everyone. It is a dive without anesthesia into the harshest truths of existence. Only enter if you are ready. The link is in the description. If you want to support in another way, super thanks also helps a lot. But just by watching, commenting, or sharing, you are already part of this. And here, that matters a lot.